wise, and any chance Moore makes his debut, or is that still a little?
No. Shaq still hadn't practiced. He's gone through shooting drills, but he hadn't practiced. He practiced before, when I said he'd play, and then that one day he said it was too sore to continue. So he's hopefully day to day, but we don't know yet. I was hopeful he could be day to day since we have a significant period of time, over the next, being at home and only playing 2 games over the next 10 days. I was hoping that could be something that we could get some practice time, but I don't know if that's going to be the case yet.
And just to kind of sidetrack, you had some really high praise yesterday for Darren Peterson. I'm wondering, recruiting wise, do you take a different approach with a guy like that? Are you more hands-on early on? I know you mentioned Curtis, but I mean,
I wouldn't say hands-on early on. The thing about it is with Darren, we've known him and his family for years. Passing through, just saying hi to him when the kid was young. So there had been a connection between KU and the Peterson family for a while. His brother was I can't remember if he was a prospect, but his brother's a edge rusher for Wisconsin, and so we've known that family for a long time for multiple reasons other than just Darren. And so I would say Curtis did the heavy lifting on that, and he deserves the credit for recruiting him. I will say I became more hands-on, obviously during crunch time, but Curtis deserves the credit for that one.
How is KJ doing with the ankle, and how did you kind of make the decision about him playing in that last game?
I didn't make the decision.
Oh, okay.
He made the decision. So I mean, I didn't have any. You gonna go or no? I mean, he made the decision. So Bill told me it would be a game time decision or shoot around decision, and then he tried to go and shoot around. So he wasn't himself, but he tried to go and shoot around, and he said it felt good enough to play. So I also told him, hey, I told the whole team this. You can be nicked up, but if you choose to play, then there's no excuses. You're out there. If you can't go, then don't play at all. But if you go, then I anticipate you being at the same level you would be if you didn't have this situation. And he didn't ever make excuses. But it was obvious he wasn't himself the other night.
Is he back practicing now at this point?
He practiced. The way that this thing works, and you guys know this. Yeah, we practiced for an hour yesterday. And he practiced. And we hadn't practiced today, and Wednesday was an off day. So I haven't seen him a lot. I haven't talked to him to see how his ankle feels after practicing on Thursday, yesterday. But he'll play. I can't imagine there being a scenario where he doesn't play unless something additional happens that's already taken place.
Going back to Darren, I guess, does he remind you of any player that you've brought here in the past?
From a potential standpoint, Andrew, from a complete standpoint, probably no one. Probably as complete a guy at his age that I've ever recruited. From a impact standpoint, Andrew, B. Rush, Josh, maybe, that you knew coming here day one that they would be. Yeah, he's one of those kind of guys. I'm excited about him. I'm really excited about Psalmist too. He's. Have you guys watched some of his clips and stuff? I mean, he looks the role. He just some time away, but he looks the role. So I think we're 2/3 done. In the early period, and hopefully we maybe get one more. But I feel really good about what's transpired so far.
You mentioned the other signing. I guess, does he remind you, same question, does he remind you of anyone?
Psalmist?
Yes,
that we've recruited, tall wing. Could he be a Kelly? Could he be somebody like that? You know, could he be a bigger Ochai type? I don't know. That's pretty tough to get there. But from a raw talent standpoint, guys, he's 6'7", his wingspan's 7'2". I mean, and he can shoot, and he can put his elbows above the rim. There's some nice things to work with there.
And building off that real quick, I know he's gonna be, I think, 20 next year. Just from a recruiting standpoint, A, how'd you guys find him, and B, what was that process like of evaluating him? And obviously you mentioned the talent, but what does it look like when you're sifting through those things?
First of all, age is, in the college world, is irrelevant. We're not gonna have him long enough to worry about, well, if he's 18, we're not gonna keep him at 21 if he's really good. And if he's 20, we're not gonna keep him at 22. He's never gonna be too old. Now, and when the NBA looks at things, they may look at age if they're drafting on potential, saying his body's already filled out. Like comparing Samus's body to Johnny's body last year at the same time. Samus will be 2 years older than Johnny was when he was here. So, obviously that plays a role, but to me, I see that as positive. We went to OTE to watch their pro day, and he performed at their pro day, and to me, he just looks different than the others. And so we had, I think KT and Jeremy and myself were all there. So, it wasn't like it was anything earth-shattering. We knew of him. Norm had seen him play, I believe, in Hungary. I can't remember when that was. Was that this past summer or the summer before?
23 summer.
Yeah. So we'd seen him play, but he at that point in time probably wasn't as big a target. But after we saw him work out down there, we're like, ooh, this is a guy that we need to make a priority.
Calderon is really the first player you guys have recruited from this Overtime Elite program. What do you think that sort of program of this new sort of path to college adds to the college recruiting landscape and maybe takes away?
I don't think it takes anything away. I think it's all bonus. The thing about it is, and I don't want to get on a soapbox here, but the way they do it overseas with academies, with guys going to school where they can work out with a trainer 8 hours a day if they choose so, where they can learn how to live on their own, where they get nutrition, where they get the strength training, where they get the individual skill development, they get the competition, maybe even to the point where they're playing against professionals over there and still keep their amateur status. There's a lot more positives in a lot of that stuff than the way we do it in America. And that's not knocking our system, but in high schools, there isn't the time nor the staff to do the things that they can do at a place like OTE, where your whole deal, the whole time you're there is, it's academics and it's ball, and your whole day is based on that. You can't do that the way it is in high school. You got to go to 7 different hours or 6 different hours. You got coaches that coach that teach classes, that work with the kids after school. You got facility things going on where you have volleyball and girls basketball and boys basketball, and then you have guys playing 2 sports that can't, there's a lot of things going on that would prohibit you from putting in, maybe 2 to 2.5 hours a day, where overseas they're putting in 7. I mean, they're doing 2 and 3 a days. It's different. And then when they get to college, the NCAA has certain rules that which is far better than what it used to be. So I'm not knocking that. But 4 hours a week in the summertime when people are getting 5 hours a day somewhere else, the opportunities for development, I think, are somewhat limited and stymied here compared to what it could be maybe somewhere else. And so recruiting players from overseas, in many ways, they may not have had the competition athletically to go against, but from a skill set standpoint, you wouldn't be surprised to find many of them ahead of where our kids are at the same stages because our kids hadn't had the same exposure.
Bill, I think sometimes there's a focus from some KU fans to what KJ doesn't do as well, but you've talked about it before, and you can see it out there on the court and with advanced stats how good he is. I'm curious what you think he does well with this starting lineup and what he should be doing this year.
KJ?
Yeah.
Our fans think that what he doesn't do?
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah, I would agree with our fans. Yeah, he can get more rebounds. I agree with our fans. He can be a better screener. I disagree with everybody else. He's as valuable as any player we've ever had here. I mean, he is a stud. Our fans also say the same thing about Juan. Was that your next question?
No. That's always a constant comment.
And you know what I would say about that? Juan, you know how to win better than anybody else and knows how to tell you to win. Do what you do. And that's how I feel about KJ too. What people sometimes, now granted, I don't disagree with what people have said to an extent. And it's okay to talk about your own, but when somebody else talks about your own, you get pissed off about it. So just like our kids. But the whole thing is, what he brings to the table is an element that we can't be near as good without him on the floor. With that being said, do they see how he can guard 3 guys in one possession and cover for everybody's mistakes? Do they see how he can get a rebound and be our best pusher in transition at 6'8", or 6'7", or 6'6", whatever it is, depending on haircut day? I mean, there's a lot of things that he could do, but I would agree for him to be as good as he can be, there are more things that he can do. But I think there's a lot more things that any good player on any team can do for the most part to put them in that situation. So I think the way I would look at it, freshman year to sophomore year, the most improved player in the league. From sophomore to junior, he should have won it again. And then from this point, is he better this year than he was last year? And the answer is yes. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah. So, and when you talk about these things he can do, like rebounding, is there anything specific that you think he could be doing, maybe positioning wise or something else?
I would say there's always things he can do positioning wise. I would say obviously the mindset. Now let me make an excuse for him. Against Carolina, he plays 37 minutes in a high possession game. When we said all along we're going to recruit to the point where he doesn't have to play 30. It's so much easier to have more juice when you know you're coming out, or when you don't have to quasi pace yourself to an extent. And the other day we can talk about, do we win the game without him? No. Was he as effective? No. Would you rather have not as effective than playing on one leg? The answer is yes. So I don't look at it from a negative standpoint at all. I look at it, thank God we had him out there. But does he need to rebound the ball better? Absolutely. Can he do some other things better? Absolutely. But so can everybody else.
Is Peterson a point?
Yes.
Okay.
And a 2, and a 3. So.
Well, we always look at points at KU. Aaron Miles.
You also look at how tall a guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's tall, he's not a point. If he's short, he's point guard. We always do that. And the bottom line is Darren Peterson is a ball player. And yes, can he play point? Yes. Will he play point? Yes. Will he play off the ball? Yes. We're gonna try to play. Can he post? Yes. We'll try to do a lot of different things with him.
Do you tell your guys that Oakland knocked out Kentucky?
That would certainly be discussed. Yeah, they don't have the same exact team, obviously, because they lost quite a few guys. But this guy, Greg, he's been there. You think I've been here a long time, and my rhetoric's gotten old. This dude's been there 41 years, and to be at one place 22, let alone 41, that's hard to do. And so props to him, and he just got a 700th win also, that's a lot of wins. At a school in the league in which he plays, so he's playing how many guarantee games a year too. So that's pretty impressive. What he's done is pretty remarkable.
What did you learn from the Illinois game? And are they going to come in and jack up a bunch of threes?
They might. I actually think a formula for success playing on the road sometimes is, hey, let's shoot 30 and hopefully like heck we make 13. I don't think that's a bad, but I don't know what they're going to do. They play low possession games compared to Carolina, obviously, and they're gonna play a matchup zone, which, to your point, Gary, gave some really good teams fits. Gave Illinois some fits. Illinois hung 66 on them, and they beat Kentucky last year in the tournament. So, yeah, it'll be a different type of game, but it's also good for us to play against different styles.
I don't know if you can go kind of quick on this, but where are you at defensively? See, that's why. With the question being, where are you at defensively in terms of what you want to be able to put in right now? And
I talked to Coach Brown yesterday, and he made some great suggestions. Bill, thought about this? Can you try this? Can you try that? And my reply to him was, Coach, I want to find something that we're really good at right now and get good at it, and then tinker after we get good at something. And we haven't found it yet. But I don't, like I said, I don't think we're that far off, but there are times I don't think we're that close. There's some things that have to happen, but we're not a speed team. Regardless, we're athletic on the wings, and with KJ, obviously, and with Flo's in there. I mean, we're athletic, but we're not a speed type team that really pressures the ball. We're not a speed type. Now, Diggy can, and Shaq can when he gets out there, but that's not who we are. We have to be anticipators. We have to be positioned. We have to do some things, good rebounders, and we have to create pace in transition off our defense, off of bad shots or long rebounds or block shots and stuff. We're not a team that looks near as good taking the ball out of bounds and playing fast. I'll say this, the Carolina game, our second half, our transition defense didn't seem very good. And they got pros coming at you downhill. Why wasn't it good? We never scored. First half, was our transition defense that much better? I don't think it was. They had to take the ball out of bounds. I mean, there's there's some obvious things that we got to get better at. But I think they're fixable. And the two biggest things would be talking and sorting in transition, and how are we going to guard ball screens, and then how are we going to switch up coverages so teams aren't comfortable. And we haven't gotten good at any of those things yet.
Sure. Where does Zeke fit into the defensive equation? Because so much of it is talking about his offense right now and what he can do there.
Atkins made one field goal
Right.
The other day. Now, granted, he may not have had a good game. He's 1 for 7, I think. But the bottom line, he didn't score the last 37 minutes. Zeke was on him the majority of the time. Now we switched some, but he was still on him the majority of the time. Zeke can do anything, but he's not a pressure up in you, play up under you type guard. He's a good position defender, and we can get better at some things. He can get better at getting over and through ball screens and things like that. But I'm not displeased with him defensively at all right now, and we're better defensively than what people think we are. We played 2 teams that expose what we don't do well. So,
Real quick too, it's a huge milestone week. Obviously, I just wondered if you had any thoughts on Devin Neal setting the record for rushing. I know it's big week for you too. I know that, but that doesn't happen. That's 30 years. That doesn't happen every week.
June
at this
Healy.
school. Right.
And I don't remember when June played. It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think first of all, let's hope football goes and kicks butt Saturday, and we have a great opportunity to in a great environment. I'm sure that place will be jumping. But local kid, quality through and through, great ambassador, represents us with class, tough, strong, fast. When you look at somebody that you would want to hold the record, he's the type of guy that you'd want to hold the record.
You mentioned the longevity of the Oakland coach. I'm wondering if you've given really any thought to how much longer you'd like to do this. And I mean, you're within a stone's throw of 1,000 wins. I know that's a little bit down the road, but I mean, have you given any thought to?
No, Gary, I mean, Shay, that's the first time I've ever even thought about how long I want to do my job. That's the first time it's ever crossed my mind. I actually, I hope to do it a while longer. Times are different though. Times are different. I used to look at it, and I got a dear friend that talked to me about this all the time. you kind of look at life at 5-year increments. You know, I'm not sure it's 5 years anymore, maybe 2 or 3. And then decide what you do after those increments. I don't know. I don't know how you guys look at it, but that's not anything I'm spending any time on. I like our team, and I'm very excited about our recruiting class moving forward. And so, you know, people probably, you know, I shouldn't say people, but there's probably not I don't have an answer, but I know that I'm on the back 9, but I don't know if I'm on 13 or 16. But I'm not on 18.
All right, thanks, Coach.